All right, let's clap it up. Hey, shalom, Israel's IHK, Minnesota. I want to say shalom. Yahweh Shema Shabbat Tham to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar. Alatham Bashima, shout out all the sisters. Once again, IHK, Minnesota with the brotherhood class. Today's title is Two Are Better Than One. If you don't understand what that means, we are going to get into that pretty shortly, all right? And of course, if anybody got questions or concerns, you can type it in the chat. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, okay? For right now, we're actually trying to go live on other platforms. We'll get back to you shortly on that within a week or so. And also, too, once again, this is a very important class. Share the content and make sure that you pay your tithes if you are watching the ISUPK, all right? Yes, these classes are very much free, but it is a law to pay your tithes. We talk about it every single class when we get into the security announcements. If you're not paying your tithes, you are sinning. If you got $1, take a penny out of that and send it up to the school. It's that serious, okay? So today's topic is very important. I would advise every Black, Hispanic, Native American person who watch these classes, share them. Share it to your family member, to your friends. Tag as many people as you can, and don't give a damn who doesn't watch it or doesn't like it. At least you showed them something that they should be watching instead of all the nonsense that's on the internet and on TV. All right. So of course, the brotherhood class is very important. This is the class where we discuss many issues within the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Not also is this a brotherhood class, but it's also a sisterhood class as well. Of course, taught by men, because men are able to dissect every single problem amongst men and women that's going on in the nation. If you need counseling, you can contact your camp leader or the person over that state that you are in, whether you are in Minnesota, Chicago, Detroit, Arizona, California, etc., etc. Okay? Let's get into it, man. First things first, can we get Genesis 13 and 1, please? Chapter 13, verse 1. As everybody has been watching the news as of lately, so many controversial things have been going on in the earth. We got, the baby who, he's getting a lot of backlash because of the things that he said at his Rolling Loud concert about the gay community and HIV and AIDS. He said a lot of things that were sensitive to people who are dealing with that or who are in the gay community, right? But of course, he pulled a Nick Cannon. When things got hot and things hit the fan, when he was being stripped of his concerts and money and things of that sort, he apologized to those that he offended. All right. But the thing is, what the baby has said wasn't necessarily. I mean, he wasn't wise based on what he said. I'll just say that he wasn't wise based on everything that he said necessarily. But one thing that he did say that was very important is that the whole gay community thing. That thing is a problem for Black and Hispanic people. It's very much a problem. Once again, it's this whole thing about how they have cancel culture, right? Everyone knows that is, right? Cancel culture, how everybody's trying to get canceled for what they say, what they do. There's a whole thing about people trying to normalize everything. You remember I was just talking about how someone said normalize, being on racist people?
Right.
You feel me? But not saying that we condone that. You feel me? At the same time, the gay community has normalized being in that field, in that way of life and lifestyle. Just years ago, it was not acceptable. The reason why it's very much acceptable today, I mean, look in the world that we live in. Everything is acceptable these days that are wrong, that are backwards.
Right.
And we are here today to show Black and Hispanic people what is the right thing that you should do and how you should live your life. And there's going to be a lot of naysayers that are going to say, who the hell are you to tell me how I should live my life? Well, the words that we are going to get into, the Bible that we are going to get into, the Most High ordained his priests to tell you and judge your life according to what he said, not how we feel, what we think. Am I right?
Right.
So, what else is going on in the earth before we get into Genesis? What else has been on the news that's been
All
trending?
this Olympic stuff.
Mm.
You know, all this Olympic, people bowing out in the Olympics, certain things of the Olympics being exposed. Um, Japan, how they got the cardboard beds before the Olympics, so people can't have sex before the Olympic event.
I seen that. That was very interesting. Yeah.
Right. And also too, stuff like the Olympics sports breaks brotherhood.
It does.
Because it makes everybody selfish.
It makes everybody selfish. Yes.
And Michael Jordan is one of the top epitomes of the selfishness that the sports stuff like that and entertainment produces.
Right. It's sad. That brother has no love for his people.
That's a poster boy. He's a poster boy for that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Michael Jordan except for the people that have met him personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a nasty dude.
Yeah, very vile, very disgusting.
He be at Churchill Downs all the time. The black people that work at Churchill Downs, they hate Michael Jordan.
I ain't surprised.
They can't stand it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, you got a lot of people like the brother said to Rob. You got a lot of selfish people in that industry. You see what I'm saying? Like, I even heard a few people in the industry speak against Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka. Say it again, go ahead.
Simone Biles quit because she couldn't perform like how she was.
Right.
They had announced that she had ADHD.
But I mean that's not really an excuse. I mean, really anything. And the reason why she quit was because of all the trauma.
Right.
All the trauma that she went through. She had mentioned
she was molested.
I'm sure every one of them have been touched.
Everyone's been molested.
See what I'm saying?
They had announced that she's been molested.
Who's the other one? Gabrielle Douglas.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? She was molested, and some of her teammates were molested as well by the same man. Go ahead.
You got to think of all of them was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I said all of them. I haven't heard nothing about Naomi Osaka though, personally.
Right.
I haven't heard nothing about her personally.
Right.
But I mean, if it did happen to her, I wouldn't be surprised. If it did not, most time Christ.
It's like a custom.
It is.
It was a custom all the way back to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they want them naked.
Mm-hmm.
Naked so the high up elites can look down upon them and their nakedness, and decide which ones they want to go to bed with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to think, look at them billionaires and all of that. They're set up high in the stands, and they looking down, at all this nakedness running around, these physical specimens, stuff like that. They look at them like, just like they looked at them in Athens, in ancient Athens and all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like sex objects.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like just something to get off on.
Right.
And it was something that you just said. So as far as like pretty much the Olympics is sex trafficking. If you ask me, that's exactly how I see it. I don't see it no different.
Right.
Because I mean, if you look at what sex trafficking really is, it's more than just selling females and males. You gotta look at the entire thing. Like you gotta look at every aspect of sex trafficking and look at the sports.
Right.
Those men are being sex trafficked as well.
Yeah.
They are being sold. Like when they say, this brother just sold. I mean, this brother just made he signed a $40 million deal with a basketball team. You have just been sold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have been sold to another team to the next team. Another man for another man. Go ahead.
Right. It's like in slavery.
In slavery, yeah.
Bought, sold, and traded in slavery.
There you go. Yes, yeah. That's why they always use those terms. Oh, this, he just traded to the Knicks from this, basketball team, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you see it every single day.
Right. And they have the power at the stroke of a pen to wipe your life out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At the stroke of a damn pen just to wipe your life
totally
out.
That's right.
People be thinking we want like athletes and all of that to be black leaders. How the hell can they lead you, when someone can easily just strike their life out, you know what I'm saying? And they're not going to, the way that they control them is because they don't want to go to be broke.
Right.
They don't want to. They're not going to suffer being broke and going to jail. They're not. So you can't look at them as a black leader. They don't want to do that. And then
Right.
see what happened to Bill Cosby just for saying something. You know what I'm saying? Just for wanting to buy Massa's house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they wiped his life out. They didn't care about what he did with them damn women and all of that. They were all doing it.
Yeah,
You
they
know
were
what I'm
all
saying? They were
doing it.
doing it in a clique. It wasn't that he was doing isolation. Think about it. He had a mansion with all of these women. It's gonna be some dudes there. Just like if you when you was a teenager, you threw a party. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna just only have women there. You be the only damn man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
gonna invite your partners and all of them over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's the same way in Hollywood. They invite all of his top friends over. You know what I'm saying? All of his top, actors and all of them is gonna be at that party too. And they
Right.
all own the same stuff.
They all on the same page.
Yeah, they all on that. That's one of the ways they control them. So if they step out of line, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hell, you know what? They could have been lying on Bill Cosby.
They could have.
You know what I'm saying? They could have been lying on him because they know the masses is not gonna. The masses is only gonna go on the, on what he's accused of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's automatically gonna be real without no investigation. Just like with O.J. Simpson, people think that O.J. Then nobody say, did he kill Nicole? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and do the math. How you gonna chop one person's head off and the other one just stand there? That don't make any sense. Nobody thinking like that. They nigga just killed a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And they just got the power to step. That's why we can't look at athletes and all of them, as being an entertainers, as being anything in leadership.
Right.
They should be what they should be doing is just supporting us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can't lead themselves. They can't pop up as a leader. They should support the leaders, not try to be it themselves. And that's one thing that other races understand. Like, you don't see Yao Ming becoming the damn president of China or something like that. Thinking you know what I'm saying? He's the, top dude in China and all that. No, they become servants of their people once they get rich. Just like Manny Pacquiao. As soon as he got the millions of dollars, first thing he did was start providing houses for his people in the Philippines.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. Like, it doesn't, that's really a good point. How do you become, this big star, but you don't give back to your own community?
Right.
That like for years and years, we keep hearing that black and Hispanic people in the entertainment game, like they support their people. How's that possible when we're still suffering?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, as of this year, Flint still don't got the best clean water.
Right.
And it's been how many years? It's been about 5, 6 years?
Yeah, I think 5, 6, 7.
5, 6, 7 years since that whole crisis happened against them. And still, we still talking about trying to support Africa. Africa is fine.
Oh yeah.
Africa will be just fine.
They more than fine.
They are filthy rich. And you know what? I was just on TikTok too, not too long ago. I was on TikTok not too long ago, and this African dude had got on TikTok and was saying that, when you send your money over to Africa, it's a scam.
Yeah.
He said that there are some slums, but it's not as bad as you think it is. But he said for the most part, Africa is thriving.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn. And I got to find this video because I meant to save the video. And then there was another video of an African making a joke talking about how they're living rich and good over there. And I was like, good night. Right. I said, good night. I mean, the video is probably gone by now. It's probably gone by now because that's the truth. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I wonder why Africans come over here and get jobs and get houses and stuff and send their money that they make over here and send it to their family over there so that they poor and broke and stuff.
I mean, they are greedy bastards.
They spend their hour with the beast also, just like all these other nations.
There you go.
And they're getting rich off of it.
Right.
You got cities and stuff in Africa, which places we think is so poor, Vietnam and Thailand and all those places is thriving.
They are.
And they got stuff that a lot of times they got better stuff than the big cities here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They becoming ahead of the curve. They're getting stuff now, you know what I'm saying, that we will get years after them.
Yeah.
And Africa is getting rich because the Chinese interest over there In Africa, the Chinese are shoveling money because they understand the concept that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Africans understand that when somebody else do business in your land, you can tax them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can tax them. They taxing them Chinese for them Chinese, the Chinese interest that is in Africa, and they get money from America too, because America and China are actually in competition for African support.
Yes.
Because the Chinese need that trailway to be able to lead them to America to attack it.
Right.
And America needs the same ground to get to China. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the top things that they're actually warring over, and China's winning. You know what I'm saying? It's geographic warfare, you know? And by result of that, the Africans is getting rich from both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Of
And
course.
Russia, because Russia is in with China. So
Of
they
course.
in on the deal too. They shoveling money in too.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a whole system. Like I keep thinking about Psalms 83. How not only are they just confederate against us as far as the Israelites, but they all work with each other in everything. They
Right.
work. I mean, they go to war together. They scheme and they rob and they do a lot together. But it's all against us. If you really
Right.
look at it, how is it that everybody's working with each other, but no one's working with us? I'm like we're out the picture. Meaning we are the ones that's doing horrible as a nation, but everybody else is doing better than us.
Right.
That should let you know that there's an issue, there's a problem.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And actually, that brings me to the topic, because the story that we are going to get into with Abraham and Lot, this is the spirit that we should have today amongst each other. Because what Abraham and Lot have as far as a relationship is what these other nations have with each other, right? And I'll get into what that means a little bit later in the segment. You want to say something?
So you got a confederacy.
There you go, confederacy. That's it. A union.
You know, right. It was a confederacy of, even though they don't like each other, but they understand they have a common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that common enemy is always us. You ever look at a United Nations sitting, when they get a United Nations and all of that, and you see all these representatives of these different countries,
Right.
All these different African countries, they right on the same board too. They
Always.
up there with all of them.
Yeah.
The Arabs with they come in with robes on, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it, we be running around thinking in order to do business, we got to dress like a devil, but they doing business wearing their own traditional apparel,
Right,
in their own country, representing their own country.
Or probably sometimes in their draws too.
Right,
Behind the computer, just doing it, just sitting back.
Yeah, they custom to be naked. They sit up on the
There you go. There you go.
They sit up
Hey.
with the they go to mud and doodle on them, getting the seat right there.
Kyle, no, for real, like these people are just doing the bare minimum. Like, I mean, probably just doing nothing, just sitting there in the bed, and they are just getting filthy rich. And business has always been a thing, even in the Bible. Like Daniel used to do business with the heathens. Which heathens was that? That Daniel used to do business with.
Oh, he was in two heathen empires. Daniel let him be an old man. He's seen the transition between the Babylonians. He was a boy with the Babylonians. He was only 15 when Babylon sacked Jerusalem and all of that.
Right.
He lived through two heathen empires. He was dealing with the Babylonians, and they were in transition Medo-Persia.
Because he was doing like trading or something like that, right?
Daniel was a top prince and advisor. He was in the same responsibility as Joseph was.
I was just gonna say that
Yeah. He had the same, you know what I'm saying? He was, to be honest with you, he was second in command over the whole thing. He was over all the princes, all of that,
Daniel was a brother from the slums who was very intelligent.
Right.
Very intelligent. Because it takes in order to be second in command like that, or just to be in a high position like that, the Lord got to be with you, man. And that says a lot about you, just your character development and your work ethic. And Daniel was no dummy at all. No. And Joseph was very smart too.
Right.
And Joseph was actually like what you would consider to be a businessman as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was running things.
Real good with business.
He absolutely was, yes. Yeah, and he was doing business with the Egyptians, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and see, the thing about it, we can learn things, you know, from the way Joseph, how wisely he moved.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, among the Egyptians and everything. It's funny how, a lot of people read the story of Joseph, but they don't see Joseph's governance skills. They don't really see that for real. You know, they'll talk about, yeah, he was, second with Pharaoh and God blessed him and everything. All true, but
Right.
We got to incorporate the same type of mindset that Joseph had when he was governing the affairs. You know what I'm saying? So when people say that the first, the so-called first black president in America was a black man, I can kind of believe it in a sense because Joseph made the United States of Egypt.
Pretty much. There you go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He united all of them up under Pharaoh.
Right.
So somebody probably did that same thing here.
Right.
And made, just like, everything repeats itself.
It does, yeah.
And most likely with those type of governance skills, it was a black man. You know what I'm saying? Chicago was founded by a black man.
That's right.
A Haitian brother.
That's right, yeah. I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I forget his name, yeah. Yeah, no, that shocked me some years ago when I found that out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I heard some brothers in Chicago breaking that down. I was like, damn, good night. I never knew. I never thought. Right. I mean, you're so used to hearing Esau being the creator of everything that you would think of just an Edomite. You feel me? But
they need us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
way
absolutely.
More than we need them. We don't need them at all.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was just thinking about something too. Like we are going to get into it, but I want to make this point. Like with the whole Donald Trump's whole administration was predominantly black, right?
Right.
And they got him to be on top.
Right.
And then at the end he shitted on them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He shitted on them once he got on top.
Yeah, we seen that coming.
Absolutely.
Everybody laying hands on him and praying and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Crying and like good night, soft.
And the Bible says, lay hands on no man hastily.
Yes, that's right.
Of his sin.
Yes.
Evil as Donald Trump was, you know what I'm saying? They sinned, they laid their hands upon them, then they got shot for his damn sin.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
And matter of fact, when he became president, for the first 5 months of him being a president, he signed multiple executive orders, and those executive orders was getting black and Hispanic people killed.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And y'all remember when he was like Donald Trump, he was like keep doing. He was like, "Oh, just keep doing what you're doing, but be 10 times more doing what you're doing." Meaning, like, kill them twice as more, 10 times more, do more stop and frisk, and more break-ins, and it's just crazy, man. Like this devil, and the devil had the nerve to protect the police too when they don't need protection.
Right.
We need the protection. It's that Blue Lives Matter bill.
Yeah.
That it can get you up to close to 5 years in jail.
Right.
And stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you try to assault or if you try to resist arrest, all types of stuff, man.
Right. And this is also, how they always complaining about the crime.
Yeah.
Now, think about this. This is going to show you how much they need us.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta have you doing crime. They got to. Just imagine the blow that would be in their, in their empire if we were separate with no crime.
They would go insane.
Yes, they would lose their damn minds, and they would be so angry that they would start blowing each other away.
I was just going to say that. Thank you. Yes, I was just going to say that it will get so bad that they'll start killing each other.
Right. Imagine this. Imagine the golden day right here of when they try to push drugs into the neighborhood. And imagine coming out your house one day and you just see a big damn pile of drugs at the corner.
Yeah.
And nobody touching it.
It's
you
like,
know what I'm saying?
It's like,
Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looks at the white man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now imagine what they will have to do. They ain't trying to let all their drugs go to waste.
Yeah.
They'll come back, get the drugs, and they won't have no choice but to take it to their own neighborhoods, sell it to them, and murk each other off over.
There you go, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Somebody, when the niggas is gone, somebody got to be the niggas.
Man, somebody.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why poor whites love having us here. All the, you know what I'm saying, the Irish and all of them, which they're not poor whites no more.
Not right now.
They love having us here because if we weren't here, they would never have come out of the Al Capone type of era.
Yes.
You know, the what was it, Whitey Bulger era. They would have never came out of that. They would be stuck at the bottom, you know what I'm saying, just like we are right now, still murking each other. They would still be doing it right now to this day.
Hey, you better believe it.
Right, living like the south side of Chicago in the 20s.
Right.
They'd be living like that right to this day.
Right.
If it wasn't for us.
I mean, it's crazy, man. Like, it really takes, like, it takes classes like this. It takes a lot of study and, what's the word, observation. It takes a lot of analyzing what's really going on around you. That's why we say, once again, like, if you are smoking anything, if you are getting high off of anything, you are very much distracted and you are asleep. You know how they say in the world, stay woke?
Right.
A lot of people that say stay woke, they are very much asleep.
Right.
Because they are still doing everything that they are not supposed to do.
Right.
So if you don't know, smoking is a sin. No matter what the hell you're smoking. Okay? Understand that, you know, being a whore, being a part of the, you know, the LGBT, A, B through Z community, whatever the hell it's called. I could never get that down pat. And I don't give a damn either. I just don't. You see what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
You know what I feel about that? The whatever community, we ain't supposed to be getting it because we ain't supposed to be in it.
Man, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you right. Give her a hand. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because otherwise, I'm in it, and I'm not in that. Yeah, I'm very, you know, I'm very straight.
We are supposed to be getting them out of it, though.
Absolutely, yes. You know what I mean? And there's definitely a way. Like, I remember General Hyman spoke about, like, when it comes to dealing with people in the world, no matter what they do, as far as a sin, you know, like you can like you can have a conversation with a drug addict, you can have a conversation with a person that's gay. But what you want to try to do is try to remove them from that lifestyle by introducing the truth to them.
Yeah.
And you ain't even
know
got to pull scriptures.
They don't know that they're sick.
Say it again.
They don't know that they're sick.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people don't know that they have a disease until you show them. And a lot of times you ain't got to get into the Bible and things of that sort. You can just, you know, there's a way that you are seasoned with your words. You feel me? You know what I mean? Like I remember having a conversation with a homosexual male and a female at two different times, and having a conversation with a having a conversation with a weed head. And I remember, you know, they, you know, these people that I ran into as on the job. And I remember just, you know, finding out certain things about them, details and blah blah blah, because people talk around the job. And I remember just, you know, someone asked me questions like, man, like, something different about you. Like, you know, what do you do? I was like, you know, oh, you know, I don't do this, I don't do that, blah, blah, blah. They asked me questions, why? So that was my opportunity to teach them the Bible without giving them the Bible, if that makes sense. Like, you know, without pulling out the Bible. And, you know, their views kind of, you know, was almost there. Like, they was like, you know, that makes sense. And what you say, you have to make it to where it's undeniable. You have to make it to where it's undeniable. Because, I mean, like, my thing is, though, right? You know, a lot of people say, you know, you should not care if someone is, you know, different sexuality than you. It's not really necessary. Okay, like if you are a heathen, I can give 2 Fs. Okay, I can care less, right? But my own people, that's an issue, because the more of those type of people there is, the more child molester there will be, the more HIV and AIDS there will be, and more hell is going to happen. You see what I'm saying? That's the issue for me. And you know what I mean? It's not because I hate them. See what I'm saying? It's just a lifestyle that I hate because it's not good for our nation. That does not benefit our nation. Now, if homosexuality did benefit the nation and it was lawful, I can't be mad about it. Why? Because the Lord said it was okay. But is it okay? It's not okay. Everything about it is wrong, but they're trying to normalize something that is incorrect. You see what I'm saying? And you know, it's funny, even a lot of homosexuals know. That's why they get high. I'll give you an example. I was talking to I was at this warehouse job, and I believe this brother's name is Michael. He's like black and Mexican. And I was working at a temp agency job pretty much. And you know, we have to have partners, stuff like that. I really didn't want to be this guy's partner. but the boss happened to say, "Hey, you and you partners, y'all figure out who collects data and who moves the crates and stuff. You can move the crates, I'll collect the data. All right, you do the work, I got the easy part. Okay." But long story short, we was talking and stuff like that. He had mentioned that he's only here to he was doing like a rehab thing and he has to get a slavery. And I was like, rehab? I was like, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? He was like, I just turned 19. And I was like, what are you in rehab for? And he was like, for heroin. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, how old are you? He's like, yeah, I'm 19, and heroin and stuff like that. And then he was like, I'm gay and things of that sort. And like he was just pretty much telling me his whole life story. He was telling me how the gay community is. He was like, I don't have to pay for nothing. I always have a hotel room. I'm always getting picked up, and I always got money in my pocket. I'm always getting fed. I'm like, good night. And I'm just like, that's a horrible lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he always got drugs. He never has to buy anything. And there are grown men hooking up with this boy.
Yeah.
And when I seen him, I'm like, man, like you are a child. You see what I'm saying? Like you are living a disgusting lifestyle. No wonder you get high. You see what I'm saying? No wonder. I'm sure something happened to you tragically. But this UPK can change that.
Right.
And that's one thing he didn't understand. It was sad, man. It was sad to hear that story. Go ahead.
Yeah. And there's another thing too, being the fact that he's that young.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times nowadays, a lot of them don't even get molested. It just be society molesting them.
Mm-hmm.
For real. But society promotes homosexuality, so the way this enters into a child's mind, especially a black child's mind.
Yeah.
Like if I want to be loved, I gotta be that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I want to be loved in society, I gotta be that.
Right.
And that's the way that they think. That's you know what I'm saying? That's what they call rape of the mind.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, psychological molestation, you know what I'm saying? Is just as bad as the physical molestation.
Absolutely. And matter of fact, give me a hand. That's right. That's right. I'm glad you said that, right? And I'll tell you why. Because like I got a few family members who are gay and things of that sort. And people have asked, like, has anything ever happened to you when you were a child? And a lot of them be like, the God's honest truth, no. And I'm just like, because I know most people who are molested, they become what their molester is,
Right.
which is a homosexual or, gay, so to speak. But the fact that no one has been touched is just the influence of a society. It lets you know that that's strong like a drug.
Right.
For example, Christianity. All those things is strong. It's the influence. That's why I think a lot of times that's why Esau is pushing what he's pushing on Black and Hispanic people today. Like Boosie just came out and said he's talking about Lil Nas X. How it's disgusting what he's doing, and if he was to ever see him, he would beat him and drag his ass off the stage or something like that, right? I was like, good night. But he also said that he feels like Esau is pushing this on predominantly just Black people. And I'm like, he's right. And then, watching the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne is like, nah, I don't see it like that. I think it's just a choice that people make. And I'm just like, that Negro is gay himself.
Right, yeah. Right.
He has such an emasculating spirit.
Right.
It's just very disgusting. Like, sometimes I regret watching that shit. So, like, go ahead.
Because I remember being in, like, middle school.
Yeah.
And you got the partners around and everything, right?
So, like, can somebody turn that
And everybody want to talk about who done had something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And if you ain't had none, you feel out of place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You feel like, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you put that you're gonna figure, well, I'm gonna lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go get me somebody.
Yeah.
There you go. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
But think about it.
No, that's funny though, because I remember I used to be bullied about this shit, and I was like, I got some. From who? Hey, you don't know. She in a different school. she in a different school. Everybody used to always say that, like, she in a different school. She in my neighborhood or whatever.
Right.
But after a while, I just stopped caring. And then family used to always tell me, like, stop saying that. Like stop telling people that you never got none. I'm like, look, I'm not a goddamn shame about it, you know. And I noticed that I was a little different because I'm like, I'm like, you know, trying to say and do what everybody else is doing in school. I just thought it was stupid. So yeah, after a while, I was like, look, nah, what about it?
So now the peer pressure and all that stuff's gonna put around now to where they gonna be looking at a little dude if he ain't had no ride and everything, like he's weird and stuff.
Oh
they
my God.
they doing it like that now.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Or a little girl, she ain't had no box. You know what I'm saying? And you looking at her like she's something weird. So what is the peer pressure and everything gonna do to her and him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's very sad. I mean, really now also too. Coming up in high school, like coming to high school and going into college a little bit for like a year or so. What I've noticed too is that it's this thing called bodies. You know, like how many bodies you got, right?
Right.
Meaning like how many people have you laid down with, and how many people have you had sex with, and damn, this is strong. It's like it. The higher that you know say the number, a lot of people kind of look down on it like you know like you're a slut, you're a whore. See what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? Like as far as the man and the woman. And I was like that's kind of weird because in middle school you get praised for that,
right.
For how many bodies you had. And
Right.
I'm saying, this is like in middle school, we like 10, 11, 12, and I'm like, you a child. It's children having sex with each other.
Right.
Yeah, like now y'all are still children.
Right.
What the hell are you thinking about sex? And it makes you think like what's really going on in the household. All right, so yeah. But anyway, so like I know we ran on the topic. My bad.
At peer, the peers, they do a whole lot too.
Yeah.
That's why I first got to watch you let the kids be around. You know.
Yeah. Everybody in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, 9 times out of 10, you are sexualized at an early age.
Right.
You know what a lot of stuff is.
Right. I just imagine how it is now from the time when things was bad when I was a kid.
Yeah, look, I remember being 5 and 4 and knowing what everything was. You know, right. Found my uncle's stash of naked magazines and, you know, hearing noises from family members. I knew what everything was. And, you know, and I shouldn't have. You know, I shouldn't have known that at such a young age. You know, my mind should have been more with the kid, you know, kid stuff. Like it was. But like some people just don't hide things; they just let it all out.
Right.
See, which is sad, you know, coming up in the Black community because I mean, at a young age, you know what everything is. You know, like you're not stupid to it. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It's funny because it just brought back a memory when I was like 10 years old. My mom got to talk to me about sex, like you know, like how you're supposed to grow up and everything, and you know, your parents sit you down and talk to you about the birds and the bees.
Yeah, birds and the bees. Yeah.
I was laughing because I knew every damn thing.
Yeah,
you know
I did too. Yeah,
she was shocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it was her and her boyfriend at the time. You know what I'm saying? They was shocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like no, it's that like it's not funny, but it's sad because I mean it can turn into a different way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Some people that are sexualized, you know, start doing the things that they see and hear at an early age, and it can fall into, you know, wicked things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Kids touching other kids when they're not supposed to, and just all type of inappropriate things, man. And this is why, once again, our households have to change. And this is that's one out of many problems that I mentioned earlier in the class that we have to talk about. See what I'm saying? I remember I was just talking to a brother. He was like, you know, sometimes it gets uncomfortable talking about those topics because thinking of what possibly happened to brothers and sisters. I'm like, it's tough, but it has to be talked to in order to give the people, I want to say closure in a sense. Yeah, I mean, you know, the truth and, you know, comfort them.
Right,
yeah.
Comfort,
you know, closure in a sense because, I mean, a lot of people have really been affected and everybody don't come back from that. Just like a lot of people don't come back from drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing when someone bounce back from something that happened to them traumatically. Right. But everybody's not as strong as everybody else sometimes.
Yeah.
Boy.
And it's funny because, you know, it's crazy because this is how it's going to show you how nobody has compassion on Black people, especially not Black men.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. It's a hard topic sometimes to talk to brothers and sisters. Like, I remember counseling a few brothers and sisters and just to listen to them cry over the phone. That's heartbreaking.
Right.
That make you want to cry. See what I'm saying? Just hearing how hurt and the pain that they went through, that's sad,
Right.
man. But you got to go through it. You gotta, listen. You gotta be there for Black and Hispanic people, and that's one thing that we lack in our communities is compassion for each other. What's the other one? It's empathy, right?
Right.
Empathy, not sympathy. I always get those mixed up.
They pretty much the same kind of same.
It is very similar, but I know there's separate definitions. But yeah,
Right.
there's similarities to it.
Right.
But yeah, that's one thing that we do not have for each other. That's why we sell drugs to each other. That's why we hurt each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When a brother sleeps with another man's wife, you have hurt that brother.
Right.
When a woman is sexualizing herself, she's hurting herself.
Right.
See what I'm saying? When you decide to emasculate yourself and bring yourself low and have no moral standard, you are hurting yourself. Every time you smoke, every time you like to, get tore up, you see what I'm saying? You are hurting yourself. And that's what you got to realize. And one thing that we don't realize that we do is we capitalize off of our trauma.
Right.
We capitalize off of our, predators. See what I'm saying? If you are gay and you are molested, you are capitalizing off of what happened to you. Because one thing can happen, you can get molested and not be what that molester wanted you to be, if that makes sense.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And it is a fight because they say when you do the psychology of rape and molestation, there's a chemical imbalance that happens in your mind, in your head. That change it's like the screws ain't all the way tight. It's like something happens to you mentally.
Right.
You feel me? Go ahead.
Right, and that's what the white man purposely did that to us.
Yeah.
That was
Breaking the buck.
Right, breaking, and they have to cause trauma, and it's funny because that same trauma is what they use when they want to create assassins and stuff like that. Assassins, sex slaves, the mind control people that doing stuff like that. That's how they break them. They psychologically break them, and it causes like this traumatic shut off.
Yes.
And then they become like robots.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They become robotic. Like you want to make a killer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A dude that kills with no remorse. You know what I'm saying? You shock him with trauma. First, like what they'll do, they'll treat them real nice while they, growing up and everything. Then the same person that treated them so nice will do something like rape them and beat the hell out of them.
Yes. Yep.
So now it causes this shock, this crazy shock.
Right.
This person that treated me so, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happens to a lot of black children. The same person that's supposed to love you knocks the piss out of you and beats the hell out of you and talk to you like, that it causes you to get psychologically messed up.
Yes, it absolutely does. When I tell you, like sometimes, like when I get on social media or like TikTok, like TikTok just shows me how evil things are in the world. Like I'm talking about, there are Black and Hispanic people who just tell all their business on there, and it's a time and place for everything, but not necessarily social media. Especially when you're talking about your trauma. Like it's this one story of a sister. She had told me how she had got mistreated by her mother. She had got sexually violated, abused by one of her mom's boyfriends. Her mother didn't believe her. You know how that story goes.
Right.
And just seeing her physical appearance, just looking at her, she looks like she's been through hell because how she was carrying herself, the way she's wearing her hair. She's gay now, and all these weird piercings and tattoos, and she just looked destroyed. Right. Her spirit was broken.
Right.
And it's sad, man. Like once again, like this is why the IHBK is here.
Right.
And like a lot of times too, we have to fight the things that we are. The things that happen to us. And a lot of people don't realize that based on how you react or how you live your life, with people around you, relationships. I'm talking about a relationship between a man and a woman, or a relationship with like family or friends. All that stuff can come out. And a lot of people are broken, man. And that's why, once again, the UPK, we fix each other. This is the place where you can get fixed and not have to get high. See what I'm saying? Because that weed is not going to help you. That bottle is not going to help you. You can do all the disgusting things that you want to try to erase your trauma. It's not going to go. That's not going to take it away. But when you come in here and get real counseling and figure out steps on really how to improve your life, that's what's going to help you. But you still can't get high. You still can't do all those, things that you think that you love and desire. You're only doing it to try to get rid of pain, but you're still hurting yourself even more.
Right.
You feel me? So let's go ahead and get this, because it's already 8:25. Can we get Genesis chapter 13, verse 1?
Genesis chapter 13 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south.
Okay. So we have Abraham, Abram, who was Abraham, went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. So they went to the certain area. They took all their belongings, and they was heading towards the south to move. All right, because if you read the previous chapter, it was something that happened to where they had to move. Lot, the family, all of them had to move. Okay, keep going.
Verse 2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and in silver and in gold.
Boy, that's where your money was. That's where your what's it called? Your revenue. I was gonna say avenue.
Right.
Your revenue. You see what I'm saying? Your economy. Like think about all the people who were rich in cattle. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Job, King Solomon. I mean, a lot of the prophets. See what I'm saying? They were rich in cattle because cattle is pretty much your animals and things of that sort.
Right.
And if you had that, if you had so many and it was producing, I mean, you had money.
Right.
You had income to feed your family.
Right.
Things of that sort. And that's where the money was. And that's called being a husbandman when you till the land, when you are a farmer.
Right.
Husbandman just means that you are a farmer, so to speak.
Right.
All right. I just think husbandman is like, you're man that's a husband.
Right.
But yeah, bro, you want to say something?
Yeah, like when you look at the definition of husband,
Yeah. It's a biblical term.
Ruler, master.
There you go, kind, yeah.
Yeah, and then this is because you got all of these people like the whole Kevin Samuels type of people that think that they're high value men because they make such and such money, but they can learn some principles behind Abraham because remember the scripture when it said Abraham taught his trained servants had his trained servants defending his cattle and everything, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
So what the hell do these type of dudes have to defend their, fortunes and everything? They ain't got nobody to defend their fortunes. So
And that's very true.
Right out.
And that's very true. Like this is a true definition of inheritance.
Right.
As far as farming and stuff like that, like I do understand if you got a business or something like that, but I mean, going back to the basics, like being a farmer, things of that sort, that's real true in inheritance. Like it's a show on Hulu. It's called Queen Sugar. You ever heard about that show?
Queen Sugar?
Yeah, Queen Sugar. It's a predominantly black, TV show about. I actually like this show. It's about 3 or 4 children. They all come together around the time their father, ends up dying.
Right.
And the father, he lives in the country. They live all types of different states, stuff like that. And when he ends up dying, he leaves the farm to all the children in hopes that they will come together and work together to keep the farmland afloat as he's dead and gone. And it's really good because I never seen a show like that because it really gets into the agriculture, the inheritance, the family business, and things of that sort. And it's really really good show so far. Yes, it's really nice though. And it also to teach the kids how to properly till this land. Okay, really work this land and figure out the economics. And what's that thing you got when you got to show your crops and stuff?
So you got to show
it's like a certain time where you show your crops, like you show what you're producing to the people.
I mean what you have produced or
stuff like that. Yeah, like if you want to sell some of your produce to the markets and stuff like that.
You mean like harvest time?
Yeah, harvest time. Yeah, harvest time. It shows all that, man. Like it's really a good show. It just reminds me of the scriptures. You know what I mean? But yeah, we go ahead, keep going.
Verse 3. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai.
Yeah, kind. Okay, keep going.
Verse 4, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first.
Mm-hmm.
And there Abram called on the name of the Lord.
Keep going.
Verse 5, and Lot also went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents.
So look, they brought the whole goddamn house with them, the whole, all their belongings. See what I'm saying? They brought the tents, the herds, and the flocks. Even Lot had, possessions of his own as well. See what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 6, and the land was not able to bear them.
Right. Now, this is going to tie into brotherhood very shortly. Now, understand that Abraham and Lot are uncle and nephew. Okay?
Right.
Keep going.
That they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together.
Right, because they had so much, they both had so much, they could not dwell in the same place. For example, like not everybody can stay in the same city. You might have to go to a different city. Everybody can stay on the same block. You might or the same house. You might got to go next door.
Right.
Imagine that. All right, you can't. We all can't be in the same space right now. We are going to have to divide this up. Okay.
Right.
Keep going. Go ahead.
And both of these were righteous men too.
Mm-hmm.
Just like even Paul and Barnabas had to go separate ways at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there, sometimes you got to be further apart in order to be together.
That's right. That's right.
This is a wise thing, and the Most High calls their Lot and Abraham's cattle to, the Most High did this on purpose.
Absolutely.
To split up the two.
Absolutely.
He did that on purpose. He caused both of them. He blessed both of them.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? He blessed both of them so much where they had so much cattle that they start to grow and grow and grow to where they cattle, the cattlemen, was beefing with each other. What the Lord's saying is separate the forces.
Yep. And that's exactly what it's going to get into, and that's right. And you're right about that. Actually, did show. Most I did show this for a purpose, for a reason. All right, yeah, keep going.
And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. Verse 7. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle.
Right. So the herdmen's cattle, they were beefing. They was not having it. All right, keep going.
And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land.
We know what the Canaanite is. The Perizzite. What is the Perizzite?
They Canaanites also. Yeah, they call them different stocks. Like you got the Sinites, the Archites, and all of them.
Yeah.
All of them are Canaanites. They're just called by the name of the father, just like the Hittites. They're Canaanites too. They're the children of Heth. They carry his name.
Right, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's right.
The Perizzites were one of the, less significant, other just like the Archites and the Sinites, but they were still powerful though.
Yeah.
But they weren't powerful like, the later,
right.
The latter ones, like the Amorites and the Hittites and all of them,
No, you are right about that. Keep going.
And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen.
Right.
For we be brethren.
That's right.
Verse 9. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee.
Right.
From me.
No, you're right. And that was Abraham speaking to Lot, right?
Right.
Like Abraham being a wise man. Also, too, I love that term when it says that Abraham is a friend of the Most High. Like that's very deep, if you ask me. That's very deep. And because of that, with his wisdom that he gained from the Most High, he gave, what is it called? He pretty much had a solution to this whole problem, which was we should separate and we should take on different parts of this area.
Right.
Go ahead.
Divide it up. You know what I'm saying?
Divide it up.
Right. And you know who else took a page out of this book right here?
Who?
The mob.
The mob. Yeah.
Lucky
Oh yeah.
Luciano took a page out of this
Mhm.
because remember, all the gangsters were slaughtering the hell out of each other at first.
Mhm.
That's why he formed the commission. You know, he and in their twisted version, Roman version of brotherhood. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, and everybody had their own portion. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was divided, but together. Because at first, without that, they would have been knocking each other's heads in, just like what Abraham and Lot's servants would have done. They would have went to war.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Over nothing though.
Right.
Over nothing. Yeah.
You know, there would have been a lot of blood, unnecessary bloodshed.
Yeah.
That's why Lucky Luciano set up the commission. You know, and united all of them by dividing them, and everybody has their own land, their own portion, their own rackets. And anybody that violated that would have to be dealt with. So nobody divided, nobody invaded one another's space. Everybody had their own territory.
Right.
They took a page out of this, out of this book right here.
And you're right about that. I mean, it's like I would say a lot of people took a page out of that book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But no, that is Rome. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Rome took it. When you go, that was real wisely the way that they operate. The Romans, in adverse to how the Greeks were operating.
Yeah.
It were good. The Romans set up the council, and what they would do is they would pick, a president, a representative for that year, and the next year would be somebody else. Next year somebody else. Next year somebody else. They would go around like that, to where everybody had their turn to be a leader. All of them was bosses. So there was no envy and strife over who's going to be the leader and all of that stuff. No, you know what I'm saying, challenging one another. Yeah. All of that stuff was out the table because they knew this would wipe them the hell out, especially on their come up. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to conquer over Greece. The Grecians, they wanted to conquer them. Without that, they would have never conquered the Grecians.
Right. And that's very true, man. Like, I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, when you really study all the history behind, all these empires, they plagiarize. I mean, they got everything from us, and it's crazy because a lot of people don't realize that. No one really realized how America is set up. Like till this day, how America is set up is how they're trying to like they're trying to play God in a sense. They're trying to come off of our records.
Right.
Like Shaka, what I found in the Bible, right? Is how the judging system is, the court system. I didn't know that was in the Bible. I didn't think nothing of it until it was broken down to me. And then when you think about, let me see, what else? Oh, like for example, bro, I'll give you a good example. A lot of people may or may not understand this. So everyone knows that reincarnation or resurrection is real, right? Yeah. Now, what happens in the court system when you get sentenced? Give me an example of how you see reincarnation. Give me an example. How you see an example of reincarnation when you get sentenced.
When you get sentenced.
Mm-hmm. I want to use the same example that General Hyman said. A double sentence.
Talk about a double sentence. Okay.
Yeah. So like for example, like let's say a man is 40 years old, and you give him a double sentence, like more than. Because a lot of people don't survive at a certain age in jail, right? But how he explained it, it was so crazy and mind blowing to where he was like, when they give you double sentences, things of that sort, it's like they know that you're gonna come back here when you die, and he was using that as a form of reincarnation, and then he started going into the he just started going into how they sentence you and how they charge you and things of that sort. He was just showing everything in the Bible. And I just found that very interesting because I never thought of it that deep. Right. You know what I mean? But like a double or triple sentence, like why would they give you that much time when they pretty much should know, like, this man is very old, this woman is very old. She's like 90 something.
They do it like that. They do like double sentences in the court system.
Yeah, but I used to always ask questions like, why do they do that when I don't think they're really going to serve all that time because they might be dead by the next 10 years. But it lets you know that the court system knows, like, look, niggas are always going to come back here. Right. So it's like, damn, like that, it's kind of spiritual, but it's kind of like, damn, like it's crazy when you think about it.
They use the Bible when it comes to
that's what messed me up about it when General Muhammad broke it down. I was like, I never thought of it like that.
They don't
have you ever heard
tell us,
that?
but they do.
Yeah, it was a
I
class.
never heard that breakdown.
Yeah, it was a class that he did about like 2-3 years ago. I was like, wow. But anyway, more of the story. Let's get back to this. But no, that was a good point. And I mean, not just wrong, but a lot of other people do the same thing. A lot of other heathens, I should say. We go ahead and keep going. I want to get to the basis of this. I think we're on verse 7. Can you do verse 7 again?
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's camel.
Mm-hmm. So they were beefing. Keep going.
And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt in the land.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 8. And Abraham said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren.
Like, Abraham told his nephew, like, hey, look, see what I'm saying? I ain't trying to beef with you. We are brothers. And, there should be no strife amongst each other. This is what we should do. And this is what he said in verse 9.
Verse 9. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. So
he came up with a solution, man. Like, look, you take this side, I'll take that side. If you don't want that side, I'll take that side, you take this side. That's how we're going to handle it, and that's what we're going to do. All right, keep going.
Verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere.
I believe Jordan was beautiful back then.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I heard it's trash, right?
Right, it's garbage. Now,
it's
back
garbage.
then, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was,
It was a place to live.
Lush, yeah.
Yeah, it was flourishing.
Right.
Time.
Before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar.
Now, this is kind of like what I call a sneak peek or a preview, because in chapter 19, Sodom and Gomorrah had got destroyed. Right. So it's telling you that he was residing here before Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed.
Right.
All right, because I believe that after the plain of Jordan, he ended up moving again. All right, keep going.
Right. Like unto the land, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Mm-hmm. Verse 11. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other.
Right, so they separated. Lot took all his belongings, all his cattle, all his flocks and herdmen, and he went towards the east to go pretty much to the south, because the south was the plain of Jordan, right? Or is that still east?
It's just east.
East, okay.
Right, and this is actually the forerunner of how the Chinese and Japanese.
Yeah, so like they went into the south. My bad, they went into the south, but then he went towards east.
Right.
Okay, I see it.
Jordan, like Petra is also in Jordan, too.
Yeah, it is. Wait, is it still called Petra today?
Yeah, it's still called Petra.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, it's still called Petra today.
Okay.
But what people don't understand is, everybody started in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the race you see on the planet,
you know
what I'm saying, started over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They always say that civilization always started in Africa. Like, there wasn't a such thing as Africa.
Right.
Back then.
There was no water then first.
Yeah, there was no water. Yeah.
It was like when the Most High was creating everything, when all the land was one, it said, and all the water was in one place.
Absolutely.
So everybody had where the water's at.
Later got separated.
Right.
Yeah.
The Most High split the 4 rivers. People had to live along them rivers.
Yeah, because otherwise, how are you gonna survive?
Right.
With no water.
Right, exactly. Yeah. When the rivers split, they split more, till they came. And then they had to eventually go down.
Yes.
They had to come through Ethiopia and all that. But even at that time, all the other Africa wasn't even inhabited. And then it was way less people on the earth at that time.
It was. You're actually right.
You didn't have enough people on the earth to fill up no goddamn African continent.
No,
nowhere near it. We couldn't even fill up one damn country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I mean, that's crazy. I be wondering, like, where do you study at? Like, what are you looking at?
Well, they just going on the devil's archaeology.
Yeah, I know. Always, it's
That's all
always
they
that.
really
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, a lot of people always say that the Bible is a white man's book, but they believe that Africa is it's the mother of us all, and blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. But even Esau told you that.
Right.
So who's telling the truth? Who's telling the lie?
Right. Exactly. You know.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, I love this Bible though because it's so easy to cut people.
Right.
It's so easy to be like, just debunk everything that they're saying.
Right.
All right.
They also believe that Africa is the mother of civilization because inside their mind they see a butt naked African like running around before humans had clothes. You know what I'm saying? That's why one of the reasons why they think that's where everybody's starting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Most High always, gave us modesty.
Right, exactly.
It's a lie. Excuse my language, but goddamn.
Get out of here. Men
Yeah.
running around naked. You know what I'm saying? There's always been such a thing as clothes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, actually, the Zondervan is not here. When you look in the Zondervan's pictorial dictionary, dress, it will tell you how long ago that we had clothes. Like, I mean, since the beginning of time, we had clothes on.
Right.
People wasn't out here just letting it all out,
Right.
You feel me? So yeah.
Like, men, the Most High put the same mechanism, in us. Man was created in his image and his likeness. In heaven, they ain't wearing clothes.
Yeah. I mean, you think the Most High Yahushua and just sitting up there naked?
Right.
And the angels just walking around naked? Like, no.
Right.
No, that's absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I just don't. It's weird to me. But can you keep going for a little bit? Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, we got like 10 minutes left. All right, go ahead. You got it.
Verse 12. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain,
Mm-hmm.
and pitched his tent towards Sodom.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly.
Oh, it's like he never moved again. He was right by Sodom. No, he was right by Sodom or in Sodom. Oh, the cities of the plain of Jordan. Oh, I see.
Right.
I see. That's
Right.
Cities.
Yeah, because all of this stuff is like close to each other,
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
all of this stuff is real close. Just like Edom, just like remember Esau always fought in the Valley of Salt.
Always.
Yeah, the Valley of Salt is actually old Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's right.
And it's awfully funny that Esau always chose that as his battle spot.
That's very interesting.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he always because where you fight at is always important too.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? There's something spiritual there. That's why when Amalek ran against us, they wanted to go into the valley of the Raphaim.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted to have a fight right there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You always want to go where you figure you have an advantage point at for whatever reason.
That's very true. It's very true.
Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Verse 16. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, for that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
I like that. So like you can start right there. Okay, so Salaki, I know we're running out of time. Damn. So okay, this is what I want to get into. I believe verse 14, right? I mean, Salaki, chapter 14. So long story short, right? After this whole little thing had happened, this disagreement between Abraham and Lot's herdmen had happened, and they separated to solve the situation. In chapter 14, Lot ends up getting kidnapped. I forget who exactly kidnapped him, but he ended up getting kidnapped, and Abraham had heard about it. And the beautiful thing about this story that I love the most is that Abraham had rounded up all his men,
Right.
and he went to go rescue his brother. Not only is his brother, but his nephew. He went to go get that brother, and he succeeded. See what I'm
Right.
saying? He got Lot and brought him back. And I forget the conversation that Abraham and Lot had after he got rescued. Do you remember? Offhand?
I don't remember offhand.
I mean, in a sense, Lot pretty much thanked him. You see what I'm saying? He thanked him. Like, like the moral of the story is, besides the whole little dispute that they had, it shows you that Abraham risked his life just to go save his nephew or his brother, and lets you know that nothing can stop them from being brothers. And this is also a scripture that you're going to read about if you are in a Hebrew Academy. I'll just give you a spoiler on that one. Okay? This is something that's going to come up as well about the spirit of brotherhood. And I love this story a lot because when I first learned about it, I was like, damn, like that's how we are in UPK.
Right.
As soon as we hear something bad is happening to a brother or sister, we are at someone's throat. I can't tell you how many stories that we had of things going on with brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? We got a sister in here. If you don't mind me saying it, where sister was in need of help, and we was there with her, and she was protected, and no one could touch her. You feel me? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
We're talking about in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You see what I'm saying? There's another situation with a brother, man. Something was going on. We had to, we had to make sure that the brother was okay. And it almost got crazy. You see what I'm saying? We was almost at somebody's head because of a brother, man. That's how much we care about each other. We don't allow each other to get hurt. We don't allow, disputes and things to separate us as brothers and sisters. See what I'm saying? Like people separated each other and hold grudges for years over the smallest, unnecessary, pettiest things that you could think of in this world. See what I'm saying? I remember when I was like around 11 or so, and I just met a family member that's saying that was telling me that I've been knowing them all my life. I mean, since I was a baby. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but if you family, you family. And I'm like, what kept you, gone for so long? There was like, just arguments and all the drama in the family. And then just hearing all the whole breakdowns of what was really going on, I'm just like, that could have been handled in a simple one-on-one conversation. Like you've been gone for all those 10 years or so, and this person would have died. Now what? Because a lot of people, they deal with that, where when they have a grudge against somebody and they die, they are a train wreck. See what I'm saying? Otherwise, people like to kill each other. I mean, you should, like, if you really love your people, Black and Hispanic people, you should not do anything to harm them. That shows that you really love them and that you
Right.
care about them. That makes sense to me. That's logical. That's common sense. See what I'm saying? Just because you're mad and angry, now that person that's your brother, they are everything in the book, every cuss word, byword, proverb. Now you upset. Now they ain't your brother. You don't know that person, but this person right next to you is your family, is your kin. When low key, this person is harming you behind your back. You see how backwards that can be?
Right.
It happens every day in the Black community. And that has to change. And we talk about this every goddamn Tuesday. You want to know why? Because it's very necessary, and this is what has to be taught.
Right.
Okay? You want to say something?
Well, you covered it.
Oh, Karen. So like, Karen, you know what I mean? Like that's how it goes. And like that's why in the UPK we practice real brotherhood. And now you may make some mistakes and make some hiccups where you may get into a dispute. You may not know how to handle a situation correctly. That's why we have counselors. We have true judges. That's why we go to counsel. We take people to counsel so we can solve the issue. Otherwise, you're going to try to fight or kill this person that you say that you love so much. And we don't practice violence against each other in the UPK.
Right.
We are not the Christian church. We don't swing hands. We do not talk about each other. We do not do anything to harm each other. If you feel like getting to that point, that's when you call for counsel. Because that demon that's in the world is trying to get you back. It's trying to get you back. It's trying to make you into that person in the world that you I thought that you killed a long time ago when you came into the school. Like in UPK, man, like it's better said than done. And here, the spirit is strong. We care and love for each other. You can't let your emotions rule you. Emotions are very deceitful. I can tell you how many times I got pissed off and upset, and I had to think back, like, you know what? It's not even worth it. And it's like, damn, if I would have went further, something bad could have happened. See what I'm saying? Behind my dumb, stupid emotions. You feel me? And it'd be like that. I remember Captain talking about like everybody fights emotion, man. Like everybody fights something. And sometimes you gotta look at things for what it is. You gotta take things with wisdom all the time. And for some people it's hard because some people are used to being emotional. Some people are used to, thinking a certain way or doing this a certain way. And here you have to be a brand new person. What did Paul say? He said, can you write a precept where it says Paul, man, what the hell is the word he used? Start with an R. You have to reform your spirit or something like that? Renew your spirit?
Renew the spirit of your mind?
Something like that, yeah. Let me see. I think I just found it. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, Romans 12, 12 and 12, if you can grab that. It's like I'm over here perfect shit out there. Yeah, Romans 12 and 12, like Paul said it better, man. Now, Paul wrote letters to brothers in Ephesia and Rome because they was dealing with a lot of, discrepancies. And he was hearing about how brothers was getting into arguments. Wasn't there an incident that Paul spoke about brothers fighting each other? In the letters, like he said,
right.
he said that he heard certain things that he.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing that he don't really believe, but it's true.
Oh, okay.
Because he was getting letters about what was going on amongst the brothers.
Some unless you devour one another. Remember is that the scripture you talked about?
It's something like that.
He lets you devour one another.
It's something like that. Like he was speaking about, he was pretty much saying in a nutshell. He was writing a letter. I forget. I believe it's in either Romans or Ephesians. He wrote a letter saying, I've been hearing things that's been going on in the church, congregation that, I don't believe necessarily, but he was just kind of going on and on, just pretty much like putting them in check at the same time. He's like, I'm hearing these things, but I don't want to believe it, but he's still putting it in check at the same time.
Right.
But,
fighting the dissension among you.
Yes, there you go. That's the one. That's the one. Yes. Like brothers was having issues with each other too, but he put it in check. He showed how it has to be done. Also, too, Christ is a perfect example as far as brotherhood. When you got a dispute or a problem with a brother or a sister, you got to go to him and him alone. You got to put your feelings to the side. Your feelings don't matter. Sometimes your emotions are just going to mess you up. See what I'm saying? It's going to mess you up.
Right.
That's why I tell people, just be calm, be cool. And now it can be hard. There's a time and place to use your emotions. See what I'm saying? But it has to always be in the right place. All right? Go ahead if you got it. Romans 12 and 2.
12 and 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The what?
Romans chapter 12 verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
Be not conformed to this world. What does the word conform mean? Be not conformed to this world.
Not being fashioned to the world.
Right.
The world, not being, pretty much being just like it.
Right. Because the Bible does say, be in the world, but not of the world.
Right.
Meaning you can live in Minnesota. You can see what's all going on, all the wrong that's going on, but you don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to have the influence. That's what, pretty much conform means. Being fashioned by it, being groomed to be a drug dealer or whore, being groomed to grow up to put your man on child support, to be an independent Black woman. You know what, too? One thing I really hate as far as what sisters be saying, I never like what's wrong with having a man by your side when it comes between you and your life, the things that you want to do, and your children. It's this whole stigma that or this whole norm that, I don't need a man. Says who? You? Because by the looks of it,
It's just her baby daddy.
right. And the thing is, when you don't have a man in the house, you are depending on another man.
Right.
Who was that? Esau. How so? It goes, I mean, like, ain't necessarily, I mean, ain't nothing really wrong with food stamps or Section 8, things of that sort, but that's the proof right there. See what I'm saying? All the support that you and your husband can be doing together, you wouldn't have to ask Esau for a goddamn thing.
Right.
Y'all can work together. Y'all got it. Y'all depend on each other, but you have to depend on this man that does not give a damn about you, and that's forcing your man out of the house by putting that influence and idea into your head.
Right.
All right, keep going, please. Or can you read it from the top, please?
Verse 2. Be not conformed to this world,
Right.
but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Renewing of your mind. Your mind is your spirit. You're going to have to change the way that you think, the way that you walk, the way that you talk. See what I'm saying? We are all still learning. See what I'm saying? We are all still learning. You know what I mean? There's certain ways that you got to change that you should dislike about yourself. If it's something that's not healthy, you got to change it. If it's not benefiting you, you got to change it. You got to change it for the better. You have to figure out how to be the best you and how to improve every time. You know that metaphor that they always say that I'm under construction.
Right.
Meaning you always got to build on yourself, always.
Right.
And actually, that's something that Kodash said just got into not too long ago about you gotta when you wake up in the morning, you gotta think about what can I do to be better. What can I do to improve in the school and help out and things of that sort, help my people. It's an everyday job. It's not just a sometimes. Like for example, we come to class on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturdays, and then on Monday and Thursday and Sunday we just sinning, just going back to our old ways. Like nobody's doing that. It's an everyday job. It's an everyday job. Like this is not the Christian church. Anybody smoking weed and smoking cigarettes and getting high on the days that no one can see us. At least I hope not, because otherwise you are a hypocrite. But one thing that we do, we have to exercise this every day, every single day. Otherwise, you're not living by the Bible. You're living you're living the worldly perspective of life. Okay? Keep going.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Did you want to expand on that?
Yeah, pretty much. Just renewing your mind means like making it new again.
Mm-hmm.
Conforming it to what's in the scriptures instead of what you learned in the world. A pretty good part of doing that is questioning. You got to question stuff. So
Always.
you have to act, and you have to utilize your analytical skills and things like that. Asking yourself questions. Is this? You know what I'm saying? How does this measure up with the Bible? Just like with any knowledge you get. You know what I'm saying? Any type of philosophy, you gotta have a top. You gotta have a source to judge it by.
Always.
Yeah, that's part of renewing your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everything got to be questioned by the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you hear something, you got to use the Bible to tell whether it's actually good or bad.
Right. Always. You know what I mean? That's why sometimes when I'm dealing with a situation, and I think to myself like, how would I handle this? I think of one way, but I double check to make sure that I'm in the right spirit.
Right.
I always call. And sometimes I may know the answers, but I don't like to lean onto my own understanding because that's wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like to, just do that. But like if it's something that I've already been through more than once and twice, and I've handled it the same way, I know better now.
Right.
But if it's something that's kind of new, that's something that pops up and I'm kind of unaware of, I would think like, okay, I think I should handle it this way, but let me be for sure so there's no mistakes.
Right.
And thank the Lord because you have people who can answer all the questions that you have in the world concerning the Bible. All right, only concerning the Bible, I should say, because a lot of people be calling us up about the weirdest questions. Like, look, I don't know about science. You got to go ask a science teacher. Are you saying that gravity is mathematics and science and all that? Hey, I'm the wrong person to talk to. I'm just talking about the Bible. All right. So yeah. So anyway, keep going.
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
So is that verse 12?
But no, this is verse 3.
I'm in Salaki. Oh wait, you read all the way to verse 2?
Yeah, I read the verse 2.
Oh, okay. Salaki, can you read that part where it says that you may prove?
Okay. That ye may prove, verse 2, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
And we pretty much just talked about that. See what I'm saying? Like when you renew your spirit or your mind, see what I'm saying? You will start to figure out and think of what is good, acceptable, perfect, in the will of the Most High. See what I'm saying? Will of God mean what is of the Most High? Because we always say if it's not of the Bible, it's of Satan. And a lot of people cannot understand that because every time someone asks me, how come you don't celebrate your birthday? How come you don't celebrate this, celebrate that? It's not in the Bible.
Right.
It's nowhere to be found. So you got to ask yourself, where does it come from? And why do we celebrate it?
Right. You know, one good example would be of the renewing of the spirit of your mind is, you know, you talk, God loves everybody.
Right.
God died for the whole world. Christ died for the whole world. You know. But then the Bible says something different.
Yeah.
So now you got a choice. Either you're gonna believe God loves everybody, or you're gonna believe that God don't love everybody according to the Bible. You know, so if you choose that God does not love everybody, now you choose to believe what the Bible say, even though it's conflicting with what the world is teaching and what you think God's will is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You choosing the unpopular route because saying God don't love everybody is very unpopular.
It is, yes.
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? People ain't trying to hear that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? People are not trying to hear that.
Yeah, you know what? And I get it because that's what your favorite grandmother told you, your mammy, all of them. I get it because what they told you is word of mouth.
Right.
Everything they told you is just, my mama, my grandmother never lied to me. My uncle never lied to me. Well, they have lied to you. The Christian, but it's okay. Don't think that they really lied to you. Just blame the Christian church because they lied to everybody in the family.
Right.
They lie to you about every goddamn thing, and a lot of people hate to admit it. See what I'm saying? One thing for sure that I can never live with is knowing that the Most High Yahweh Shai is white. I'll be damned. There's no way in hell that I'm serving a white power and a white king when this white power and king looks like the people that's killing me.
Right.
That does not make sense to me. I cannot. Right. I kid you not.
He's the ringleader. He's the leader.
Man, I kid you not. Like now I understand that we are oppressed and oppression that we are getting punished. I do understand that, knowing that the Most High is black, Yahweh Shai is our king. I get that, but I cannot serve a God that looks like these people that are unjustly. So I mean, because that lets me know that this God is unjust, right? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense, man.
Right.
It doesn't make sense at all. But thank the Lord. Thank the Lord that I am a Israelite. Still got so much work to do. I'd rather be an Israelite than be a heathen, man. Any day, boy.
Right.
And thank God reincarnation is real because I'll be a Judite every time. I'll be a Judite every time. It won't switch. Someone said something stupid like, yeah, when you die, when you come back, you come back as a different race. Where is that in the Bible?
Right. Yeah.
Good night. I mean, like, look, I wouldn't mind being a different tribe in the nation of Israel. No sweat, right? Hey, I like to be all 12. You know, I like to try it out. It'll be nice, you know. But a heathen, oh, good Lord, man. Because what they got coming for them, I'm damn near scared for them. I'm scared. I'm damn near scared for them. I'm not, but damn near. Because the Most High is not going to play with these people, man.
Right.
He is not about to play with these people when Yahushua returns. I could not be a devil. I kid you not. I couldn't do it. But anyway, Salaki, I might have to do a part 2 of this because there's a lot more scriptures I want to get into that ties into, once again, brotherhood and actually a few of the topics that we spoke about earlier today. And I'm going to use that for, next week, most likely. So, yeah. So otherwise, with that being said, that's the class. Mind you. So security announcements. All right. All right, ISUK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to speak Salakia. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, spoke about this earlier. Numbers 18, 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, Mayashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation is going to be memorial blowing of trumpets. It is September 9th. All right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that being said, Majin Muhammad Papadam, of course, means rise to face the east. It's going to be the Lord's Prayer. In Hebrew, Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shakah.
Shakah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malak Watka.
Malak.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Radizaka. Hayah.
Hayah.
Ashah.
Ashah.
Baratasa.
Baratasa.
Kawah.
Kawah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Nathalanaw.
Dalanaw.
Lakam.
Come.
Call.
Come.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Vasalakanaw.
Vasalakanaw.
Kawawakinaw.
Kawakinaw.
Kasalakanaw.
Vasalakanaw.
Kawawakinaw.
Kawakinaw.
Wala'ah.
Ala'ah.
Taba'ayanaw.
Bayanaw.
Vanasaya one.
Manasaya one.
Abal.
Abal.
Hashayanaw.
Shayaw.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nakah.
Kah.
Hamalakwa.
Malak.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ataparat.
Bar.
La'alamu.
Malay.
Amam.
Amam.
In English, our Father,
Our Father.
which art in heaven,
God in heaven.
hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done
Thy will be
in
done.
earth
In earth.
as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us of our debts,
Give us our debts.
as we forgive our debtors.
We forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation.
but deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory.
forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Amen.
Amen.
Bless Israel in the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Hashem Yahushua.
Barak Panah,
Barak Lanah.
Wayasha Ali,
Wa'asha'ah.
Wahabayah,
Wa'abayah.
Saparim,
Barak.
Barak,
Barak.
Rafa'ah,
Ah.
Magun,
Gun.
Hagun.
Gun.
Say the name of loved ones once. Everyone repeats name once. At this time, for those that's on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, if you have a loved one that you want to pray for, put it in the chat, and we will repeat that name. Anybody in the room can get started?
ISBK, Minnesota.
IHK, Minnesota.
Makaba.
Hamakaba,
Kapashiala.
Kapasha Island. Israelite School, UPK.
Israel School, UPK.
IHBK, Minnesota.
ISBK, Minnesota.
All of Israel.
All of Israel.
IHBK Minnesota,
IHK Minnesota,
IHBK Indiana,
IHK Indiana,
IHBK Kentucky,
IHK Kentucky,
Carmen Johnson,
Carmen Johnson,
Monique Johnson,
Monique Johnson,
Kenneth Johnson,
Kennedy Johnson,
Austin Trout,
House of Turok,
all of Israel,
all of Israel. All right, let me see my chart. Dwayne Davis.
Dwayne Davis.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. Kudasa Young,
Rafael
Turok,
Young.
Kanagabar,
Nagabar.
Amungabar,
Amangabar.
sisters,
Sister.
students,
Student.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Yahweh Shai,
Shai.
angels,
Angel.
generals,
General.
captains,
Captain.
officers,
officers,
troopers,
Trooper.
students,
Student.
sisters,
Sister.
children,
Children.
all of Israel.
All of Israel.
Vashimi Yahushua,
Bashina Shai.
Kawada Amon.
Lord,
In the English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai,
Lord, maybe I Shai.
bless us in Israel,
Bless us in Israel.
in the school.
In school.
Bless Hill Shield Protect,
Bless your protect.
loved ones.
Love.
In the name of Yahweh Shai,
Maybe I Shai.
thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be
All right, power structure. Blessed are you,
it.
Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and
and
earth.
all things living.
All things live.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
Maybe I Shai.
listen to us now,
To us now.
right now.
Right now.
To evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, in the school, to evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel, that refuse to give to the school, force their riches to enter thy sanctuary, to evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nations, and the drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, everlasting gods and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Positimatizers, the gay movement, the lesbian, spies, works of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, cable access channel, and radio channel. Convict the spirit of any thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way and try to stop us. And broadcast your word throughout the planet Earth. Let us all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel, come down to find sorcery and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause we know by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always. So be it. Sorry. I'm gonna call it.
Men of Israel, Mother Shabbat, Mother, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Atah.
Yazbatah, courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Mother Shabbat, Mother, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Atah Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shema.
Yazbatah, class dismissed.
All right,